God bless you. Welcome back to Talks with Tonette. And I just want to backtrack a little in my life. So at 17 years old, I ended up leaving home. My mom had gotten out of the hospital. Things for her were better, and she met somebody, and I felt like a third wheel, so I left. I ended up living in Campbell for a little while. Then I moved with some friends to East Palo Alto. Met a guy there named Tony. And Tony used to ask me, hey, come over, watch the game with me. I didn't know that he really wanted to watch the game because I'm thinking all the guys I know always wanted to be with other guys watching the game. I'm like, that's okay, you can watch it with your friends. I was making him feel unwanted at the time, so he started hanging out with Pat, the next door neighbor. And Pat and him ended up hooking up, and we ended up breaking up. And then there was a Juneteenth festival that Shirley Washington and I went to. It was on June 19th, 1980. And when we walked into the Kezar Stadium in San Francisco, I was saying hi because I thought I saw Tony. I'm like, hi, Tony. And then I looked at Shirley. I'm like, oh, my God, that's not him. But he's looking at me like, who is this woman? Little did I know that was his name. I mean, his real name's Anthony, but he goes by Tony as well. So he's trying to figure out, who I am because I knew his name. Anyway, me and Shirley start walking around, and I apologized. I said, I thought you were somebody else. So we're walking. We ended up listening to music. We're about the fourth row in from the stage, listening to the music, and I turn around and I noticed that Tony is, well, I didn't know his name was Tony, but I noticed that he's like 3 rows of people back and headed in, and he's looking around like he's looking for somebody. So right when he got almost right in front of me, I said, are you looking for somebody? And he had this big grin. Now, Tony had an amazing smile. And that's how we ended up hooking up. So we were going out here and there, and he was supposed to come to my house to visit. And he said, I can't come. I have my baby with me. And I'm thinking he's talking about a woman. And in my head, how we create stories. So I'm creating a story that I'm like this side person. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You got me twisted. And he's like, no, I have a daughter, a 2-year-old daughter. And then in my head, I'm going, oh my God, no. I always told myself I didn't want to be with somebody who had kids. I had witnessed, the baby mama drama, and I didn't want any parts of it. And I was like, okay, let me just go see what this is about. And so when I got to his house, Julia was standing there. She had the 2 twist pigtails on the side, one in the back. She had on a white sweatsuit with the Crayola crayons, drawing the colors all the way down to her ankles. And Julia and I fell in love. We connected so well. I ended up being with Tony, not realizing it until later, because I was in loyalty with him, but I loved Julia, and I felt responsible for her. And I really believe God sent that little girl, she's now grown, but sent her into my life for a reason, for a purpose. Anyway, so our life began, this little family. And I didn't even notice that, until later, but I would come over, he would be gone all day, and it would be me and Julia. We'd be at the parks, we'd be going to do things, I would do her hair, and it was just always me and Julia. I spent more time with my kid's father's brother, Carlton, than I ever did Tony. And we ended up friends, but yeah. Then, I started having kids, and I ended up finding out when my oldest son was 3 years old. I found out about a little girl named Channing, and Channing has been a blessing in my life. She's 7 days younger than my oldest son. It's what you call project twins. Sometimes I feel Channing should have been mine. I didn't get to raise her, but I was able to be a part of her life here and there, and more so as she got older. But you guys, we'll finish the story later. I'm at the gym. God bless you. Jesus loves you, and so do I.